Good afternoon, everyone. I am Jean-Jacques L'henaff, leader of the Lixil Global Design team here in Americas. Thank you for being with us for this DXV event. I am really looking forward to having a great discussion with our three design experts this afternoon. But before I introduce them, I just would like you to know that by virtue of registering to the event, you have a chance of winning a gorgeous brand new DXV kitchen faucet, part of our new collection, the Etre collection. We will select one of you for this prize after the talk, so please do keep an eye on your email shortly after the event. And maybe one last point before we start, there will be some time for a Q&A session at the end. So please don't hold back. You can share your question at any time during the chat, during the event. And we will try to get to all the questions during the event. But if we don't, we'll still have some time afterward to reply to you if you through this means. So let's focus now on the reason that brought us all here today. This afternoon, I'm joined by three wonderful experts and really talented interior designers, Lisa Mende, Bari Ackerman, and Vanessa DeLeon. So Lisa, would you like to say a few words to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Lisa Mende of Lisa Mende Design, located in Charlotte, North Carolina. And during design school and after, I worked for a local kitchen and bath firm. And in 1998, I opened my own firm, and we specialize in residential design. We do a few commercial projects each year, and basically just have a great time. So thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Bari, what about you? A few words.
Sure. Thank you for having me. I'm Bari Ackerman. I am an artist. I am the author of a decor book, Bloom Wild, a designer, and I am the founder of the floral-filled Bari J lifestyle brand.
Thank you so much. And Vanessa, I think, Vanessa, you're closer to us. You're in New York City, right?
Yes, I'm an interior designer based out of New York City and New Jersey. I specialize in high-end residential, commercial, hospitality interiors, and I also do, I'm also a TV personality.
Well, it's a pleasure to have the three of you today this afternoon, and really looking forward to this discussion. So let's dive right in. I have just as a warm up, first question on trends. So, what is today the most significant or maybe the most popular trends that you're seeing? Maybe we can start with kitchen faucets and kitchen environment. Vanessa, can we start with you?
Well, one thing I've noticed in trends, we're kind of going away from the typical white and gray kitchen cabinets, and we're mixing in a lot more of a traditional styling with modern fixtures and vice versa, kind of mixing the two styles. I have an example of a kitchen that is a green kitchen, and we actually use the Victorian collection for DXV here. So it has a transitional feel to it, but still all the elements in the space feel somewhat current and modern.
Very interesting. And Bari, what would you say? What is the main trends that you have seen in kitchen?
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of the same thing, that away from the white and a move towards color and mixing of modern and traditional materials. I'm seeing color in tile as well as in cabinetry and adding wallpaper to spaces. And as for faucets, you know, we're loving the look of the traditional faucets, like the Victorian faucet. The bridge faucets are really a lot of that.
Okay. And Lisa, any thoughts on the matter?
Yes, Jean-Jacques, I have a photo of a kitchen that I did in Savannah, a blue kitchen. And I'm finding that people want to treat the kitchen as any other room in the house. They don't want it to feel so kitcheny. And this is a good example of that. And I used in this space, I use the Victorian bridge mount and the hillside sink, the Farmhouse sink, which has a design on one side but can be flipped to be smooth on the other. And you'll notice in this photo the open shelving with articles that aren't necessarily found in a traditional kitchen. However, I feel like this kitchen is pretty timeless, and I think the faucet in the polished nickel is a beautiful accent in this kitchen. And we're seeing a lot of large slabs instead of tile. People are opting for that, and in that particular case, that is porcelain tile.
I feel the same way. The large format is, I feel like it looks much more luxurious in a space as well. By the way, I am obsessed with your kitchen. Obsessed.
Oh, thank you.
It does feel, actually, after 2 years of everybody being at home and retreating in a safe place, that there's a little bit of an explosion of colors these days.
Yeah,
I completely agree, which feels great because
it makes me happy. That picture made me happy.
Yes. And
thank you.
So now, switching to the bathroom environment, are we seeing the same thing, something a little bit different? Maybe let's start with you, Bari.
I'm seeing a lot of zero entry showers, and I'm thinking because boomers are getting older, there's probably a lot of zero entry, but it's also clean and sleek, spa-like environments as well. And again, the mixing of the modern and traditional materials.
Yeah.
What about you, Vanessa? You see?
Yeah, same. With Bari, I agree with Bari, absolutely. I think that's also transitioning really fluidly to the bathrooms and even some of the other public spaces in the home. I'm also noticing, and I've been doing this for quite a bit, having the tub within the shower as like a full, just walk-in sort of spa-like environment, no curb, right in, and everything kind of drains to a center drain or a linear drain. And then all the faucets being like the moment of the space. So a larger scale area, you have basically confined into a tub and the shower area, but you can actually fit all that together, and it doesn't, even if you have a smaller space, it doesn't feel like it's super closed in because it's kind of like an open floor plan.
Yeah, totally agree.
And
with
more
that.
wet rooms.
Yeah,
Right.
Exactly.
And Lisa.
Well, I agree with the other designers. I have a photo of a blue bathroom that I did in Napa. I believe you can pull that up. If you'll notice how tiny that room is, the tub goes wall to wall. We had a question whether we were going to even get it in the room.
Wow.
But this is a great example of how you do not have to have a large space to have a luxurious spa-like environment. And in this space, we have beautiful DXV, everything from the vanity to the Randall faucet to, let's see, what else is there? The Oak Hill tub. It's just all those beautiful plumbing fixtures add to the luxury of the space, the toilets, DXV, the whole bathroom. So you don't have to have a massive bathroom. You just have to have DXV.
That should be the next slogan.
That's the next slogan. No, I have to confess, that's a problem I have when I work with Lisa, that I am a modernist, but I always want to move into the spaces she shares with us because they are so beautiful.
Beautiful.
It's wonderful. So, well, thank you. I mean, one thing that one of you mentioned when we were speaking about the kitchen was like the slightly change of role of the room. Has the bathroom become a little bit more important to your customers? Has it become more of a destination than it was before the last 2 years?
Well, I think COVID changed everything. I think that people now want to feel like they're in a spa when they're in their home, because we couldn't really do any of, we couldn't go to spas. So to have the spa experience in your own home, why not in your master suite and your ensuite? So I think that people want to bring that experience to their home, even if, right now things are open again, but they still want that luxury and that environment in their own spaces.
And I agree with that. I mean, even in our own home during the pandemic, that was the one thing that that was what we remodeled during the pandemic. And, the standalone tub and the great big walk-in shower and all of that, it was really important to us at the time. And it is still. And I think that that's going to continue to be the trend. I think more and more people are feeling like homebodies.
Right.
I agree with all of you about that. And I think that people are also wanting to bring in products they never have wanted before, like the Spalette bidet toilet. I think that is more popular than ever because it does give you that spa-like experience at home. And I think people through the pandemic, as Vanessa said, it has changed everything. They've started investing more in their homes because all of a sudden they've realized, hey, if we get stuck again, this is all we have. And so I think the pandemic, as well as high prices of real estate. Now, the market's hot, but a lot of people, because the prices are so high, are deciding to stay where they are and remodel. So that has really helped with, the renovation with interior design and everything else. The market is so hot right now.
Absolutely.
I think people are they're more apt to mix a luxury product with, and do high-low design, where they've got something that they may not have spent a lot of money on, and then they'll put in like luxury fixtures, like DXV fixtures.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen that as well.
Well, it's true. And the one other thing I was going to say, I think people realize that rather than buy the cheap faucet like at the local big box store, they'd rather buy a nice faucet or plumbing fixtures on the front end, and then they're not paying for service on the back end for the faulty faucet. So,
100%.
you buy the good faucet to begin with, and you're not paying or trying to find a repairman to come out to your house all the time. And that's a luxury.
And good luck finding a repairman to come
exactly
right? Or at all.
Very hard.
I think we all have reassessed a little bit the definition of the word value, and as we see also that people are investing in more quality products than ever before. So that's good to hear. But since we're speaking about renovation, I think that all of you are going through projects that involve some of the DXV products actually in your own home. So let's get personal. Let's speak a little bit about that and your experience, and maybe what was your approach, your design process, because it's actually a personal project, even more interesting. So how did you go about it, and what led you at some point to look at DXV? And maybe we'll start with you, Lisa.
Okay, I have a actual photo of the design board for my powder room. And you can see on there, I have that beautiful Bellshire undermount sink that is reminiscent of the Art Deco period from the Golden Era and collection. And it has those beautiful faceted corners. And it's so beautiful in the space that I can't even explain. Every time I go in there, it just makes me happy. And then I paired it with the Oak Hill faucet in the satin brass. And the one thing that I have to say before I go further is when the boxes came and they were in these beautiful dust covers, I felt like I was opening jewelry. And I thought that was so important because the pieces are like fine jewelry. And when you put them in the space, you walk in every day. It's something that you use every day of your life, and it should feel that way. And DXV does a beautiful job of that. And that was what led me to DXV and why I wanted to use it in my own project, because when I see it in the client's projects, I've been a little jealous, I have to say. So I love the Oak Hill toilet that I chose because it has that pretty little flusher on the top, and the top of it's actually oval. And then I added the Oak Hill towel ring and the tissue holder, and all together it's just really beautiful. I can't wait to show you the rest of the bathroom once the wallpaper gets hung.
It's great to hear. Great to hear also about how you're picking up the details on the product. You know that toilet lid, the inspiration was the apothecary jars that you go and when you go on antiquing on the weekend and you're in your farmhouse, you find them, and these little details is what we translated into the toilet. So
that's a great fun fact.
Yeah.
So what about you, Vanessa? What Tell us about
So
your
I actually chose the Belshire too. We have very similar tastes. So in our beach house, I wanted it to feel a little bit more traditional, modern, beachy, but not too beachy, but not too serious and playful. So what that looks like, it's a mix of large formatted porcelain throughout the entire bathroom, with the bridge made out of the same porcelain with the moldings, and thresholds into the room in the same porcelain. And then the Belshire throughout the space is just the jewelry in the room. So the shower is massive. I opted not to do a tub in there because I just wanted a really big shower, and it is our summer home, so we're always outside in the pool. So I feel like we didn't need a bathtub in that room. But I absolutely love it. I love the bit of, again, going back to the marble large formatted, it almost looks like an agate sort of porcelain juxtaposed to this very traditional, transitional fixture. It's just like a happy place for me.
We all want to visit. This sounds fantastic, all your
Yeah,
projects.
I'm going to obviously share all this with you, and I'll put this on my Instagram as well very, very soon. The plumber is there this week, so.
Bari, what about you?
I have a photo of the small guest bathroom that we just did a tiny makeover on, and it made such a huge impact. We used the Fitzgerald pedestal sink in here and the Fitzgerald faucet, and you'll see in another shot to the right, there's a Fitzgerald towel ring there as well. And you'll notice that I mixed metals. I think there's a move back to a lot of the shiny traditional chrome, but I also love the gold and I didn't want to give that up. And so I mixed it. And then this is a bathroom that we intend on, we were gonna obviously keep the pedestal and then eventually redo the tile in the shower and the floor. But this was, if you look at the first before photo, it was very, very builder grade and quite boring, but we just zhuzhed it up, and the pedestal sink gives it so much character. And then the other thing is the Fitzgerald comes in a 24 and a 28. So that is like super helpful for teeny spaces. And I noticed there are several other sinks that come in different sizes to make it a lot easier to fit in small spaces.
Excellent. Great. Lots of colors again.
Yeah, I love that powder room or that bathroom.
So now, in the recent past, the last couple of years, obviously, we just went through a pretty challenging time. And but from a professional standpoint, from a design professional point of view, what has been the biggest challenge that you have encountered in the recent past? Maybe let's start with you, Lisa.
Of course, supply and demand. I mean, getting the products has been a challenge, but it hasn't been a challenge so much with DXV. They've been fabulous, or you guys have been fabulous about getting product to us. I think of all the pieces that I've specified lately, everything was pretty much in stock. The Belshire, we waited for that just a little, but really not long at all. I've been very impressed with how you guys have gotten the product to us very quickly. So even though that's been a big issue, it hasn't been a big issue with your product. It's been a big issue everywhere else. Yeah. And, you know, we've done everything to stand on our head to make clients happy, you know.
and that doesn't work.
No.
Yeah, contractors have been a bigger issue than the supply and demand, really, just because a lot of contractors only want to take gigantic jobs. And so, you know, if you're doing something small, it's been really hard to get people in. So to build those relationships is probably the most important thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Vanessa,
I think for me, it's obviously the supply issue that we have and what we're facing. But the same, actually, DXV came through. I think the only thing we waited for was a shower head, but all the roughing, I mean, that's the most important. You're paying these people that, you know, by the hour, the plumbers are literally waiting there and they're waiting for the items to come in. And sure enough, like everything came in, all the roughing came in. And all we were waiting for is one piece that just has to get installed. Like anybody can do that. So I think that's probably the biggest. And then, yeah, the contractor situation is crazy.
Yeah.
Right now, everybody's so busy. So they want to take out the biggest, best project, but developing those relationships and establishing those relationships, I think is really important, because then, you ask them for a favor, even if it's a tiny job, that they're going to jump for you. And that's why relationships are so important.
Relationship, yeah, totally agree. And even us, we see that with the showrooms and designers that we work with constantly. I think it's still the most important thing in the trade. That's what makes it run smoothly. So let's go back to DXV a little bit more specifically. When you first of all, when you spec product, what brings that the inspiration? What brings you to actually give that recommendation to your customer? Maybe we'll start with you, Vanessa.
I think it's a combination of a lot of things. What style I'm looking for, what's my inspiration, what really drives the overall design, right? So if there's a fixture or something, like for my beach house, for example, I wanted something that was going to be traditional, but not so traditional, but also timeless, but not too, like I wanted it to still look current, and striking that balance is important. So for me, when I'm looking through all these companies and I'm researching, I kind of like narrow it down by like, oh, this could go with this. And then you start putting these boards together and all of a sudden it starts making sense. And I think what's also really important is, and a lot of companies don't do this, and DXV does really well with this, the finishes have to carry through, right? We can mix metals all day long, but at the end of the day, at least a core piece is like the faucet, the towel holder, the toilet paper. I think all that should have the same color tone. A lot of these manufacturers, they may have the faucet, the rain shower, but then they don't have like a diverter or a toilet paper holder, like a random thing. You're like, how can I specify this product if I don't have all the materials that match the same color? So you guys do a really good job with that.
So complete collections are important.
Yeah, it's so important.
I have found that really frustrating too. If you can't find a drain that matches the rest of what you're doing, it's just so frustrating.
And then after you spend so much time developing it, it's the last puzzle, and you're like, oh no.
So are you kidding? I can't find
the
drain cover.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or the flusher, or even the flusher. And then it throws the whole thing off, and you're like, can I paint this with a magic marker?
It's interesting that it's usually the smaller piece, and like a trip lever, for example, that will hold back everything. Lisa, any thoughts on this?
Well, I think DXV, there's several reasons, like the other designers said, but one is they cover inspirational periods of design time in all of the products. You can look back at the golden era or the modern movement, and it's really nice to know that you can go to one website and you're going to find something that's traditional or contemporary or modern. And it's nice to know that you're not surfing all over, or if you're going to a showroom, that you can go to DXV and they're going to have something in a finish that you really like and want for your client. And the other reason is because the product's not only beautiful, it functions well. And it's important for me, whatever I'm putting in a client's house, that they're not calling me in a month and saying, this faucet doesn't work, or I don't like functionality of this. I've never had that call with DXV. And I think that is extremely important, because the products we specify, we're putting our name on them. And so it's really important. And I know that DXV has my back, and any kind of issue I've ever had, not issue, but any kind of question, if there's been a question that I've needed answered, DXV is right there. And I've never really had an issue with any of the products, and that's rare. So that's why I choose you.
It's Great to hear. Thank
Customer
you.
service is everything. And then for
It's
us,
everything.
especially because the client really leans on us to get things done because we are the magicians at the end of the day, right? So if our companies that we're specifying they don't have our back, it makes our job so much harder, and we shy away from even wanting to use them again. So it's never been the case with DXV. Excellent.
So another question about DXV, but that ties back to trends. I mean, the brand and the portfolio of products is organized around these design eras: the classic, golden era, modern, and contemporary. You have been speaking. Several of you have been speaking about what seems to be a trend, which is that the mix and match of layers and inspiration. So is that something that is developing more and more? That's something, I mean, we organize the portfolio in these different events, but it's to make it easier to shop. But you see actually people going kind of off the conventional process and actually people or yourself and mixing more today than before. Do you want to, Bari, maybe you want to start? Or
Sure, I do. I think that people do want a mix and match. And I mean, I certainly do in my home. I don't want everything to feel like it's a theme. It doesn't need to be, you don't need to pick everything to be the same thing. And I like things to be more eclectic. And I think that customers do as well, for sure.
Thank you, Vanessa. You have some thoughts also about that?
Yeah, same. And I think for me, I've always been a little edgy in that respect. I've always liked to kind of like disrupt the movement a little bit. And I've always linked to that, mixing things that don't really feel like they go, but they do. And then you add the colors and the things and the patterns and everything kind of comes together. And I've been doing that for a while, but doing it with fixtures that are a little bit more permanent, you have to really sell that to the client. And that's always like the little bit of the challenge is like, trust in me, trust in the process. And then when it all comes together, it's flawless. But I love that. I love disrupting that, the movement of that mixing, and we do it all day long, and, everybody's really receptive towards it.
Great. Lisa, the experience also in this area?
Oh, yes. I feel like curated rooms are the most interesting. Yeah. And I actually have a photo to share that was the national ad campaign that I did for DXV. And it's a bathroom, a blue bathroom. And you'll notice that we have the Rooms faucet, which is very sleek, and the pop square sink. But I used it in kind of a glam space. And it was breakfast at Tiffany's. And this shows how you can mix styles, because that faucet on its own you would think would be very contemporary, but mixed with the elements here, it blends beautifully. So I think it's more interesting. It's more fun to curate the collections and mix and match.
Lisa, this bathroom is absolutely incredible.
Oh, yeah, it really is so gorgeous.
2 questions for you. Is that a real cat?
It's a real cat. He makes more money than we do.
Is he an actor?
He's an actor, and he has a handler. And
wow,
he was amazing. But that cat makes bukus of money.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, in that space, the cat's living luxury right there. That's gorgeous.
I'm coming back as that cat. My next
Yes.
The execution was insanely beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
So, speaking about styles of fittings, I mean, now maybe let's speak about finishes. What do you see coming up? What is trending now? What is going to be trending next?
Well, silvers and stainless steels and satin, chrome is coming back. We're seeing that pretty frequent. I'm installing that and specifying that. The silver tones have, I don't think they ever went away, but definitely we know that the gold and the brushed gold was very, trending really hardcore the last couple of years. But I think we're going back to basics, back to the silvers and the chromes.
Interesting. But Bari, you see the same thing?
Yeah, I mean, I still love the golds, but I also see a lot of the chrome, and I feel like the tradition. I think people are just feeling really nostalgic.
Yeah.
And I think that the chrome fills that.
Yeah, and I feel like mixing metals is still pretty paramount. I love doing it all day long, so that will never go away from that, because the trend is going to be gold again, in the next few years. So the balance of that, the balancing act is really important, and then to keep it more timeless, unless you change frequently, that would be great. But I know I went heavy on our beach house with the silvers and the chromes, and my home in the north is a little bit more coppers and golds and blacks.
And there's also the change from the very matte gold to the shiny.
Yep.
So going towards the shiny, you mean?
Going towards the shiny.
Okay. And Lisa, what
Black,
do you see?
black and white's very hot right now. And, I'm working on a kitchen right now. We're doing black faucets, and I think it's a stunning look. And I think your new Etro faucet with the gold,
yes, beautiful.
I love that mix.
So beautiful. And I do think that the polished nickel is a constant. It's always going to be there. And your satin brass, I think, is beautiful. For a while there, people wanted unlacquered brass, but I'm finding now that homeowners don't want the maintenance of it. So we've kind of gotten away from that a bit. I still love it, but I'm in agreement with the other designers and how they felt about the stainless and silvers and things.
And I hear all of you speak about mixing metals and mixing finishes. It seems that even within the product, more and more, it's happening, and you see this combination of finishes, right? So,
yeah.
Now I have one last style question that I've been thinking about. We launched the whole and refreshed the whole Oak Hill collection, I think about a year ago, and we refreshed it. Farmhouse. I see a lot of modern farmhouses everywhere. Is that a trend that is going to stay for a little while? Is that you think is going to be very transient? Is it in terms of architecture? It seems to be everywhere, but you think it's going to?
I think it's hard to tell, because here in Charlotte, people love it, and they would love it to stay. I think, like, on a personal level, I mean, I don't want to say anything's going to go bye-bye, because I just feel like everything that comes around goes around. But I think we're going to see maybe a dip in it.
How about
I think people have gotten too carried away with it, personally. And I'm in Charlotte as well. And well, I'm gonna be.
I think we could be as experts. I think we could be, right?
Yeah, exactly. But when you go in a neighborhood, we have a specific neighborhood here I'm thinking of that had beautiful homes, that each home was different and had different builders, and they've all gone in and put in these big metal windows and doors and have made all the houses look alike. And I think they're going to be sorry in a few years, and all those windows are going to be changed. But I could be wrong. Maybe I'm the one who will be laughing last. But I just think it's important for our houses to have personality.
For sure.
And I feel like the Farmhouse kind of dumbs that down a little.
Yeah, I think I'm in that neighborhood, and I'm seeing the tear down of, like, literally tear down of these homes that have beautiful character, and then build a modern farmhouse.
Yeah, and I've also seen renovation projects where they've taken a colonial looking house, and they add this vertical, black leaded window installation, then with like a little garage off to the side, and they're trying to mix it in. And yes, it looks current and fresh, but that's what it is. And you're right about saying it gets carried away. And then you see all the shiplap all over the place, and then the black windows, and then the shiplap, and the natural floors. And after a while, it just becomes everybody's house looks the same. So I think, like everything comes and goes. And I think this will be a wave. Just like, think of all the homes in the Hamptons. People still build those style homes, like the Dutch colonial style houses.
Right.
Center Hill colonials were pretty popular back in the day with the split rooms. You walk in, dining room, living room. That was the floor plan, right? Everybody then wanted the boom of the open floor plan, and now we're back to individual rooms because of COVID. So
exactly,
it all comes back.
So don't don't let yourself be carried away by a trend,
Exactly.
basically.
Yeah.
And
None of them.
that leads me to,
you're right.
to probably the toughest question. So how do you make a design timeless? How do you make it so that what guides you so that it doesn't go out of style, so that you still enjoy it 15 years from now, 10 years from now?
I think I could answer that. Like we've all been saying today, the balance of that mix, bringing the modern, the whimsical, the clean aesthetic, and then really sprinkling that throughout the house, that there's a little bit of that in every space. So the house doesn't feel like one time or one theme or kitschy themey. I think that if you have that balance between all the spaces, and there's a continuity in the spaces that have all those elements that are sort of every genre in design, I think that's what's timeless. You could always change colors of the walls. You can always change like the small things, the pillows on the sofa, but the hard pieces should remain somewhat timeless in that respect. And what that is, it's just being cognizant of, you know, if I'm going to put a door or a fixture, let that fixture be something in between if the house stylistically is more traditional, right? If I want to go super modern on a very traditional home, you can do that too, but maybe a powder room could be really funky and that could have the modern fixture. But everywhere else where it's a little bit more serious, like the kitchen, that could go back to traditional, you know, vice versa. I think it's that balancing act is really important.
And I think, go ahead, Bari. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Lisa.
I feel like the most important way to keep your house timeless is to really hone in on who you are and what you like, and design with things that you love. And if you truly love things, then it's going to be timeless for you because you are, you know, being true to yourself. And so I think it's very important when you buy a product not to be impulsive and to really think about, do I love it? And all the way down to the faucets. I think it's so important to pay attention to the details in your home. And if you only buy things you love, they're never going to go out of style and you're never going to tire of them.
I'm going to have to agree with both of you. Like, yeah, the basics, keep them timeless. And then, man, if you just buy things that you love, I don't think that there's too much of a possibility of it going away on you. Right? I mean, if you're following every trend, then you're gonna run into problems down the line where you're sick of things. But if you just love it, do it.
So that emotional connection is really
Oh, absolutely. First and foremost, yeah.
And you know, as a background story, we do take usually anywhere from 3 to 4 years to design a collection for DXV, and it's that attention to detail and refinement and really owning the right proportion, which I think also allow you to connect with it and have quality in design also, which is what you're also producing in all the environment you create. So it's that's a very, very, very good advice indeed. I think Vanessa, you mentioned something about color. Actually, you can always repaint, and but what in terms of color, what is trending today, and what we started the discussion with looking at bathroom and kitchens that had more vibrant colors and maybe what was trending 2 years ago. Where are we going from a color perspective? More greens, more blues, more yellows?
Well, definitely I see more neutrals, and the neutrals really work with the greens and the dark blues and more jewel-like colors. I personally am using a lot more sort of taupey tones, like taupey undertones, not ivory, but almost like an ivory gray. And that seems to carry throughout the home, and it looks beautiful, whatever style you like. And then that's like your basic or the house color. And then we sprinkle in all the other maybe jewel tones on top of that.
Excellent. Bari.
I have a picture of my kitchen, which is greens and white. And I think you could see in the background that the pantry, no, we can't, like, it's a little touch of the pantry back there, there's oranges. So pops of the natural tones with the woods, the green, I kind of feel like green is a neutral. And then the pops of the jewel tones in the stools. And back there's a pinkish, orangish butler's pantry. So I feel like that's kind of where it's going. Like people will layer more.
Excellent. And Lisa, any thought on colors?
Well, I agree with both of them. I think we're taking cues from nature. I think with COVID, people want to feel like they're bringing the outside in. And I think we've gone away from the white kitchens into the more ivory and creamy tones mixed with wood tones, and more of a cozy feel, warmer feel than the all stark white kitchen that we've seen for the past 7 years. And, you know, I'm in Charlotte. I think color has a lot to do with where you live, and North Carolinians love color, and we love blue and we love green. And so we're seeing a lot of blue and green, but we're also seeing black and white. And I think black and white kitchens can be extremely timeless. Some of the old mansions with the black and white kitchens, when I walk in to those particular kitchens, it, you know, maybe was designed years ago, like 50 years ago, and you walk in and it's still beautiful. You know, you still are drawn to that look. And so I think black and white and the neutrals, along with blue and green, are really strong.
Great, excellent. Well, thank you for discussing all these points. I see here that we have actually a few questions that are coming in, so maybe we can transfer to here. So we have someone here asking how difficult it has been for you to get your contractors to do a linear drain and zero entries.
A contractor that is not as skilled will say that it's impossible.
Yeah.
It's actually very easy to install. It's just about the pitch, and it's all about, you know, creating that pitch to make it to the linear drain. It's a drain like anything else. It's not like the entire thing is a full drain. There's still a circle, and you're just putting a longer drain.
I would say it's like cue number 1 to run when you like say I'd like to do a zero entry shower, and they go, oh no,
what is that?
I'm not sure. Not even like what I'm not. They'll say they know, and then they'll be like, they don't know what the pitch should be. So I think it's important, like if you're a homeowner and you're dealing with contractors directly, like be sure you ask all the questions and like kind of know what the answer is. Because if you don't know what that pitch, like look up what that code is and know what that pitch should be before you get started, so you can accurately screen people.
Yeah, and measure it, and then bring a level to it and do the whole thing. And have them redo it if they give you a hard time, because that's what you're paying for. That's what the client's paying for.
Well, I was going to say, like Bari said, that should be one of your questions when you're interviewing contractors, are specific questions like that, because if they can't answer them, run far away.
I had a shower torn out. I know. It was not cute.
Especially with all this large wet room. Also, actually, they're not complicated, but you need to know how to approach that.
Absolutely.
So here, actually, speaking about this, second question, Kelly asked, "What is the trend for bathtubs in the master room? Are people liking larger showers and no tub?" I mean, we have the example here, one person. So, but are you seeing that overall the bathtubs are still a trend for, especially freestanding bathtub, maybe, or is it something that is going away?
I'll answer that. I think that it goes back to the client and how you want to live, because I'm a bather. I love a tub. And at the end of the day, that's my favorite activity. And so in my house, I will always have a tub in the master. So I think it's more about how you live in your master and what you want. So that's one of those things that I don't agree with going with the trend. You need to pay attention to how you live.
Absolutely.
I also think it's going to be about the space too. Like if you really like a great big shower and there's just not space for the tub and shower, it's like, where's the priority? Are you going to really use the tub? You may think you're going to use the tub, but maybe you really want a giant shower with 2 shower heads in it.
Or going back to the wet room, right? You can have the look of the large expansive shower, but still have your tub there as well. So you compromise in the overall look and feel of the space, right? It's like you best of both worlds.
Right.
So
That's why I love that wet room look.
Yeah.
Yes, I do too.
I do too.
So here, Nancy asks, still on, we have a lot of questions about tub and showers, actually. Tub trends, is anyone seeing moving away from freestanding tub?
Not me.
No, people love them.
I have seen some that have that kind of retro feel where you've got the tile around it, but in maybe like the small grid style.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think they look cool. So it depends on the space, but
it does.
But in general, freestanding is my preference.
Yeah,
I love freestanding.
Excellent. So Jessie here asks, how do you feel about the matte black future trend? Still strong, continuing?
For me, yes.
Yes.
But I love black everything. So
sleek, it's beautiful. Yeah.
It's like the little black dress. You can never go wrong. Coco Chanel said it best.
And especially mixed with the gold, like the faucets that you showed.
Very rich. Yeah.
So beautiful.
So pretty.
I'll go one step further on this question. What about my white finishes on fixtures? Do you see that coming? Because we're starting to see some matte white combined with a brass, with a stainless steel.
I want them.
I think
they're super chic in a bar style setting. Even in a kitchen, I think they're super chic. I see it in like a really swanky Soho apartment with everything white, with the sink, with the white, with the little brass. It's like a really chic look.
Excellent.
I'd like to see more appliances in white as well.
Oh, in white as well.
Yeah.
White with gold accents would be really nice.
Yeah. Our next question is, have you seen an increase in requests for hands-free fittings? So touchless, contactless, voice controlled. Some
clients have asked me. They sort of love the technology behind things. So I get asked every so often. It's not an everyday ask though.
It's not an everyday ask.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people still don't know about them, and we do install them, and people love them. And I have one that I love, but at the beach house. But it's not a must, and it's not something that's people are talking about all the time. But I think once they have it, they like it so much, you know.
And do you see it more in the kitchen or in the bathroom? Because kitchen faucets have been touchless or hands-free for some time, but that's for a specific function. I mean, you're usually preparing meal, or do you see it also? Do you see the technology in the bathroom also as well?
I actually have never installed it in the bathroom, but I actually think for makeup applying, how cool would it be if you're like in the middle of a BB cream and you have to touch I have a black faucet and it's all spotty with BB cream on it. So it would be kind of cool if I could just do one of these and then not worry about having, the cosmetic stuff on there.
I was literally just noticing the BB cream on my faucet today. I was like,
oh, really? And I have a black faucet, so you see everything.
Yeah.
So speaking about technology, here we have another question about bidet seat and shower toilets. Do you see the trend accelerating a little bit?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Clearly?
Yes.
Yeah,
I think because everybody's sitting all day, so they're like, "Oh, a bidet would be great right now."
As you were saying,
and again,
I think earlier,
space. If you have the space for it, I think why not?
Yeah,
and it's that spa experience that you're bringing back into your home also. So.
Correct.
Yes, it elevates your life, and like the DXV product, it has a light under the sink. So at night when you go in the bathroom, that it serves multi-purpose. But I just think it's a beautiful fixture, and it adds a lot of spa-like qualities to your bathroom.
Excellent. Well, thank you. And so one last question. Do you have a favorite project that you completed or are extremely proud of, and why? Let's start with you, Vanessa.
Oh gosh, that's such a loaded question. I love all the projects, and everything's so special and different. So we do our genre and design is there's a huge spectrum. But I think the beach house is coming out amazing. And I feel like that end result, the final installation, that's going to be one of my favorites, at least this year. And it's using the DXV product.
Excellent. Bari, what about you?
Back in our house in Scottsdale, we've since moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, where I live really close to where Lisa lives. But back in Scottsdale, our primary bathroom, man, I missed that thing. Yeah, it was quite a feat to get done during the pandemic, and there were crazy cuts for tiles, and that was probably my favorite for sure.
And Lisa,
every project's my favorite. I don't really
Good answer.
That's like saying what my favorite child is.
Right?
Yeah.
my favorite project is the one I'm working on right this minute, you know.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of projects going on right now. And if I had to pick a favorite, it might be my powder room that I'm working on, because I actually get to enjoy it. And it has all those beautiful DXV products that you saw earlier, and I can't wait to get the wallpaper in and actually share it with you guys. It's been a while coming, so we're excited about that.
Can't wait to see it. Can't wait. Excellent. Well, thank you so much. This was a really great discussion. Really thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you for making the time to be with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
It's been fun.
We'll hope we can get to do that again very soon. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, ladies.
Bye-bye.